Impossible Foods have made it very clear about their position in the market since their establishment in 2011. Impossible Foods took a very different approach to the previous plant-based alternatives, as they are specifically targeting meat eaters instead of the vegan market. This was reinforced in their first global media campaign entitled "We Are Meat," communicating that Impossible Foods are serious about establishing themselves as not just an alternative for meat, but as a replacement for the meat products. Although there are many competitors emerging in the plant-based meat sector, such as Hungry Planet and Perfect Day, the biggest and most well-established competitor is Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is Impossible Foods' largest competitor, as they are competing for the same customer base and the same distribution channels. Similarly to Impossible Foods, Beyond Meat value comes from their eco-friendly production of meat substitutes. Beyond Meat also has a well-established and dominant social media presence across the past 5 years, and have amassed 1 million followers on Instagram, which is almost 3 times the amount that Impossible Foods have. There has been a huge economic upturn in the vegan and plant-based foods as of 2020. The market has reached a valuation of $115 billion. Plant-based eaters, or vegans, now account for 8% of the global population. It has also been reported that roughly 70% of people are trying to cut down on their meat consumption, as many turn to plant-based alternatives.
Economic opportunities arise through less expensive production costs of substitute meats, increasing profit margins and cash flow budgets. Substitute meats are also on the path to becoming cheaper than real meat, providing an opportunity for customers to purchase these products. This market is emerging rapidly, expected to rise to $27.9 billion by 2025, creating an attractive market to thrive. Environmental opportunities arise through the capabilities to utilize prevalent climate issues caused by the agricultural industry and deliver products that taste like meat but reduce these impacts, saving 87% on land consumption, 74% greenhouse emissions, and 90% water. Social opportunities arise through the generational shift prevalent with millennials and Gen Z typifying open-minded traits. A 16% rise in veganism globally has occurred, giving Impossible Foods the right capabilities to exploit these social opportunities in their product line. Supply chain threats emerge as COVID-19 experiences cross-border bottleneck delays, in particular Impossible Foods soy protein, with longer production times threatening supply and consumer relationships. Additionally, an economic turndown was also witnessed, with shareholder relationships on edge after uncertain market success. Male stereotypes that eating meat makes you stronger is also a prevailing cultural construct, limiting Impossible Foods' market range to females and feminine males only, threatening their future success. Lastly, rival brands' increased product line trump Impossible Foods' limited products, threatening customer loyalty. And Beyond Meat, an alternative meat coast healthier pre-protein versus Impossible Meat's genetically engineered soy, threatens their consumers' purchasing power as they opt for more healthy and less processed foods.
The two most critical issues affecting Impossible Foods to maximize the outlet opportunities and mitigate stress regarding to criticism and management of diversifying. Impossible Foods is criticized by both vegans and group of meat defenders. While vegan reported Impossible products are usually served in restaurants with non-vegan preparation, fiery meat defenders criticize plant-based meat for the lack of nutrition and highly processed ingredients. In 2019, certain number of Americans still agreed the use of term meat for plant-based foods were against their traditions and livelihood. Management of diversifying is a critical problem for Impossible. The company has to manage to diversify its product range and expand the international market at the same time, which is hard for Impossible. After suffering a huge product shortage in 2019, the company finds it difficult to estimate the market size and allocate supply. Moreover, prioritizing the right market to enter requires Impossible to take several processes.
Solutions we've suggested to combat the first critical problem Impossible Foods faces, the criticism it receives, are as follows. We would suggest implementing product preparation guidelines that could be visible on packaging. This could be in the form of appropriate suggestions of what to do or not to do, or in the form of recipes. Once this change has been implemented, we would suggest a marketing campaign demonstrating these requirements or recipes. Lastly, we would encourage restaurants who use Impossible Food products to complete a certification to be able to advertise they are 100% plant-friendly. The second solution we have suggested is addressing the backlash of unhealthy or processed foods by promoting organic or healthy ingredients included in the product to be inclusive of health-conscious consumers. To address the second critical problem, the need to scale and diversify, we would suggest 1. Scale the company and grow management team by using the closed-loop framework, which should align both strategy and operations. It may be necessary to consider the need of additional hires who have scaling or operational experience. Once this has been addressed, we recommend working on logistics and supplier relationships and expanding into international markets. An alternative would be diversifying the product range that Impossible Foods currently holds and include healthier products or options versus the nuggets that are currently available. We would then recommend expanding into international markets with these new products also.
Regarding the benefits and drawbacks of the solutions proposed for Problem 1, Impossible Foods is advised to execute Solution A, updating product packaging and being certified. This is because Solution A's overall feasibility and effectiveness outweigh Solution B's rebranding and product tweaking, allowing the company to outperform competition through increased market penetration. Both solutions increase customer satisfaction and strengthen brand image, but they both have implementation costs and are relatively time-consuming. In terms of resource efficiency, Solution B is more efficient because it requires fewer business departments to implement. However, overall, Solution A is the better option for Impossible Foods. Additionally, due to the considerable market risk associated with Option B, diversifying product range for Problem 2, it is advised that Solution A scaling be used. Both solutions are partially viable in terms of feasibility because they are challenging to implement and have high costs. However, if implemented successfully, scaling enables Impossible Foods to reach a larger market and cut costs, while diversifying its product range will allow it to differentiate itself from competitors. As a result, both options will effectively lead to increased market expansion, with Impossible Foods able to meet the surplus demand through scaling. Both solutions, however, are time-consuming and require multiple resources. Thus, Solution A is recommended due to greater benefits entailed and the lower risk associated.
Solution 1, our objectives and goals are as follows. We want to launch our new packaging, How to Prep, by 2024. We want to reach our current target audience at least 10 times with our marketing campaign between 2024 and 2026. We want to launch and gain 100 restaurant participants for our certification program by 2027. And we'd like to increase our sales by 10%. This will involve using the below resources, including our marketing team, maybe an external design team, and our financial team for budget and promotion. In solution, our objectives and goals are as follows. We'd like to align our strategy and operations. We'd like to secure agreements with our suppliers and logistic operators by Q3 2022. We'd like to implement strategic and operational reviews quarterly and expand into the European market by 2027. The resources we will need to use are our external logistics, our external suppliers. We need to use our internal human resources and that closed loop management framework.